I'm not a leader? What the bleep does that mean? A lot of people say I'm not a leader because I didn't tell Kyrie to get vaccinated. Come on. Or I didn't condemn Kyrie for leaving the team, going out and living his life. I'm not about to tell a grown-ass man what he can and can't do with his own life and dissect his views or how he thinks about bleep. Close quote. I like KD getting a little bit spicy. I do like it. I don't necessarily agree with it, but Joy Taylor, I like it, I like it, I like it. Where do you stand on KD's response about leadership?
I mean, I agree with Kevin Durant. Here's the thing about Kevin Durant. We know KD a little bit at this point. We know KD's personality. We know what KD is. KD's a hooper. That's what he wants to do. He wants to play basketball. And everybody doesn't have to be everything to everybody. That doesn't necessarily mean you're not a leader. On the court, you can lead differently than you lead off the court. The only issue I have with it is that life doesn't happen in a vacuum. The whole world is not on this court. There are things that happen outside of the sport that can cause distractions for what we do here at work. It's the same thing in every workplace. So I don't condemn KD for wanting to be who he is, especially when he presents this way all the time. Be authentically who you are and be the leader the way that you want to lead. My issue with this situation, and it has always been the situation, is I'm really tired of considering the Brooklyn Nets to be a contender. They're not. They're not a good basketball team. So maybe we all just need to free ourselves in the same way that KD clearly has from these shackles of the idea that they are a contender and that we should have any expectations of Kyrie whatsoever. That's essentially what he's saying. Why is it my job to watch Kyrie all day? Why is it my job to check what he tweets, to make sure that he goes and gets vaccinated? Why do I have to carry that burden of another grown man when I'm here to play basketball? I hear you. In the same breath, I'm not playing this game with the Brooklyn Nets anymore. I don't need to do that. I can separate the two. I can enjoy watching Kevin Durant play basketball. The other night, they're playing the Sacramento Kings. Turn it on. Oh, Kevin Durant. I'll watch a little Kevin Durant. Oh, they're down by 30. Well, we'll keep it on for some white noise. Okay, it's fine.
Some white noise?
Yeah, it's fine. I can just, see KD, and that's fine, and enjoy watching Kevin Durant play basketball. And then there's teams I turn on and watch because I know I'm going to be seeing them in the postseason. Yep. This is different kind of experiences.
I think, Joy, it's very convenient right now for KD to say this. I like that KD finally said something with his chest. I don't like what he said, but I like that he said. I think it's convenient. KD, unfortunately, you do not have the luxury of not being a leader. You do have the luxury if you go to a team that is littered with leaders. Draymond Green, Steph Curry, Steve Kerr. Then you have that luxury. But at the point in which you choose to go to a team in Brooklyn that has no other leader, and you choose to partner up with Kyrie, who is not a leader, and you choose to partner up with Steve Nash, who has shown no head coaching leadership ability, then KD, you got to lead. Now, where I to some degree disagree is I don't know that there are a plethora of leadership styles that work in sports. I haven't experienced all of them. I think to some degree, you lead by your actions, you lead by your speech. The greatest leaders I've ever encountered do a little bit of both. The greatest leaders I've witnessed, Ray Lewis, Tom Brady. In my college career, Colt McCoy. In the football field with the Eagles, Jason Peters. The greatest leaders I've witnessed do both. You lead with your words and you lead by your play. KD, I don't think he has the luxury, Shady, of just tapping out and saying, hey, I can't tell somebody what to do. I'm not supposed to do all that. I agree. You can't tell somebody to get vaccinated. You can't tell somebody what they can and cannot tweet. But I think it's very convenient for KD to tap out of what might be the greatest responsibility outside of getting points.
I won't say tap out. This is what I will say. I love the response. Now, I want you to be honest to America.
Yes, sir.
Was I a good leader? Be honest.
No.
I want a good leader? Okay.
You got crazy numbers, though.
But when I got busy, did that help lead the team? Did that help get y'all motivated?
It helped us win.
There you have it. So leadership is all different, right? I wanted the most rah-rah guy or, we had to be there at 1 o'clock. I might show up at 12:58, which I'm different now on the show.
102.
Or 102. That's who I was.
But you weren't a leader.
But I was a different type of leader.
No, you weren't a leader.
I was a different type of leader.
You weren't a leader.
When I played and I got crazy work and I got busy, it helped y'all out. Damn, you see Shady doing, let's go. Put your helmet on. I got you leading that way. When I look at KD, I liked it because it shows he cares. He's ticked off. He keeps hearing about how he didn't drop the bus, how he's not a great leader. That's all you hear about. Yep. So for him to speak out, I loved it because he actually came out recently and talked about his trade request. I don't know if you guys seen it. And he was saying one of the issues he did have with the coach was, listen, I want to practice, right? They don't do a lot of practicing. He said, I want the coaches to push me. Make me be great. If your player in his 15th or 16th year in the league is telling the coaches, I don't want no days off. I don't want no walkthroughs. I don't want no shoot-arounds. I want practice. We have to get better as a unit, as a team. So if a guy like that is saying that, that's not leadership. He might not be yelling at Kyrie or going publicly saying, do this and do that. But leading like that, saying we need extra work to get better as a unit, as a team, that's real leadership. I'm happy he finally spoke out about it.
I'm going to get back to you later. Dave?
Look, I'm not going to hate on KD because what I always say is, like, I appreciate authenticity so much. And regardless how people feel about it, Kevin Durant is his authentic self. Like,
that's right.
He's going to say what he thinks. He's going to tweet what he wants. Like, you know, he's tweeting about Texas basketball. He got a big win the other night.
No matter what burner account it is,
you know, he might have used to do it on burners, but now he just does it on his own account.
Right.
He's just like, he'll answer people on Twitter. Like, I love the authenticity. I love that he is a real three-dimensional human being. But when you're like one of the three greatest players walking the earth, and the best player on your team, and for the money that you're playing for, like, isn't that part of the expectation? And I'm glad you mentioned Tom Brady. An interesting part of the quote is he's like, people don't need to know everything I say to my teammates. And that's true. As long as there's some element of it happening. Like earlier this week, I don't know why he did it, but Antonio Brown posted the text from Tom Brady. It looked like a damn novel. Tom Brady basically saying, you're messing up. You're, like, going down the wrong path. I'm worried about you. You're not being accountable. All the stuff that Shady always tells us Tom Brady does. We didn't know a word about it until Antonio Brown posted it. Like, was he trying to make Tom Brady look bad? I have no idea because he made Tom Brady look very good. Like, you can be a leader without, like, I don't need you to get in the news, but I want you to care about whether or not your teammates are available to help your team. I want you to do that type of stuff. So, yeah, Kevin Durant, like, you can't make another grown man, like, you can't tell another grown man what to do, but you can try to inspire the behavior that's going to lead to winning. And I think that comes with the territory when you are Kevin Durant, a guy, like, we universally acknowledge him as one of the best living basketball players right now. It can't just be like, yeah, I'm going to work really hard in the gym. I'm going to put up shots. I'm going to do my thing. Like, that's not good enough when you're Kevin Durant.
But to your point, we don't know the conversations
it's
that
true.
KD had
It's totally
with
true.
Kyrie. And I have to put myself in his shoes, and I can admit I'm a little bit of a KD apologist. I think it's ridiculous, the narrative around Kevin Durant's career, that he didn't earn the status that he has, that he just went to a loaded team. Like, they didn't just lose the year before and ask him to come. Like,
begged him to come.
Begged him to come. Like, he wasn't the one who won the finals MVP in those championships. He won what he won. He is who he is for a reason. I don't know why everyone feels the need to take that away from him. I also don't need people to be what they're not. True. When we look at the greatest leaders in the history of sports, there's not that many of them, like, truly unanimous great leaders. Tom Brady. Everyone feels Tom Brady's a great leader. Yep. Michael Jordan.
Who else?
Everybody didn't always love Michael Jordan's leadership style. He punched Steve Kerr in the face. There were a lot of questions about
it. Had to get done for
okay, but, like, it's not like everybody always agreed with it. Kobe Bryant, right? Mamba mentality. Kobe wasn't always the greatest leader. There was a legitimate shift in Kobe's career that made him someone that could relate and have conversations with other players and lead them.
That's true.
A big part of that was the Olympics. Yep. Being around other players, having that community of players. So I don't need Kevin Durant to be anything other than what he is. Would we like this situation to be different? Sure. But once again, he went to a place that has no culture. It has no backbone. Michael Jordan had Phil Jackson, one of the greatest coaches of all time. The Warriors have Steve Kerr. Kobe Bryant also had Phil Jackson. Like, all of these, Bill Belichick, Bruce Arians, like, there are pillars that hold you up. It's not all Kevin Durant's responsibility to make sure that Kyrie Irving is there.
I agree to some degree. Again, it's one of those things where, Shady, like, you've been in the situation where, though Joy, though myself, though you, though Dave might not need Kevin Durant to be somebody he's not, the team in this instance does. I've had coaches come up to me and be like, hey, big dog, you're the senior now. Like, I need you to step up into this leadership role. At Texas, we went to a national championship my sophomore year. Junior year, we struggled. Senior year, my brother departs. Hey, Acho, it's on you now. I don't know if Chip did this to you or not. I don't know if Deuce Staley, the running back coach, did this to you or not. But I would assume maybe Howie, maybe Jeffrey Lurie, maybe Chip, maybe Deuce, at some point in time came up to you and said, hey, I need you to lead those guys. It happened to me when D'Amico Ryans, our starting backer, went down and I had to step in and start. So though I wasn't supposed to be that guy, there comes a point in time where I need you to be. If there isn't another leader, Joy, this is when I'm like, KD, if no one else, it's got to be you. Michael Jordan did finally get Phil. But when LeBron looked around and didn't have his coach as a leader, when it was Ty Lue, and Ty Lue at the time was most famous for being stepped over, it was Bron. Now, retroactively, we know the stories of Ty Lue leaving money in the ceiling of Golden State and saying, hey, we're going to come back here and we're going to get it.
Right.
Retroactively, we know those stories, but it was Bron. So I think KD has to be somebody he's not if they are ever going to win. But I do feel you if you don't think they're going to win. Where do you stand?
But, like, how we know he's not a good leader? They create this narrative, but how we know he's not a good leader? Like, well, okay, when the COVID thing hit, right, and we had the quarantine, et cetera, our first year, it was weird for us because we never been through it. So I remember, like, certain players got vaccinated, some players didn't. And it's hard to tell somebody, like, hey, you need to get vaccinated. Like, how can you do that? That's an uncomfortable,
weird place to be in.
Awkward situation. And I remember certain players, it was like a couple of them, they didn't believe they wanted to get vaccinated. And other players like, listen, we got to do this to win a championship. This is what we got to do. So it was awkward. People believe in different things. So it's hard to tell. And we know how Kyrie is. Kyrie thinks outside the box. He thinks what he wants to think. How can you tell another?
I don't condemn KD for the Kyrie things. I feel you on that.
So where else is it that he's not a leader?
I'll give you 3 examples. First example, I'll go back to when he went to Golden State, and I believe it was September 27th. So
we're going to go back some time. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna go historically on you. I'm going to go back to Golden State where he literally said, I'm glad I don't have to be the leader. I don't want to be the leader. So
I think he was saying it's so many as veteran players that take the game serious. Joy always talks about the franchise. That's a real franchise. Okay, so they probably had a couple leaders.
Yep.
Steph is different from Draymond.
Of course.
So it's a couple leaders
now let me talk body of work.
Okay.
Body of work to me.
Body of work, great one.
I do not think that a leader would allow several relationships to dissolve. I don't think a leader would allow the Russ plus the Draymond, plus the Harden, plus the Steve Nash, plus at this point the Kyrie relationship to dissolve personally. We've seen Jordan have some relationships dissolve. Kobe and Shaq relationship dissolve, and then thankfully they rekindled later in life post-playing career. Kevin Garnett, we saw relationships dissolve, him, Ray Allen, etc. We've seen a relationship here and there dissolve, but to have a relationship with Westbrook dissolve, then a relationship with Draymond dissolve, then a relationship with Steve Nash dissolve, now watching this relationship with Kyrie Irving dissolve, that's when I'm just like, clearly you are not agreeable.
But you name Russell Westbrook.
Sir.
With VC, he can be hard to work with.
Oh, no doubt about it.
Team huddling up, he on the bench. Okay, all right. He has his own people working with him. They always talk about he's different to work with. Okay. Who else you said?
I said Draymond.
James Harden?
Yep.
Do I got to talk about that? Do I need to talk about James Harden?
No, we don't.
Okay. All right. Who else you say?
Draymond.
Oh, my God. He kicks you, punches you, he do everything. Draymond's a wild dude to work with. That's one of my favorite guys.
I said Steve Nash.
I mean, would you play for Steve Nash?
Well,
I wouldn't play for no Steve Nash.
Apparently, a lot of people would like to play for unqualified people.
She's still on it.
So I don't know if we can use Steve Nash.
But those 4 guys, like those guys are hard to deal with.
I just think
everybody, Michael Jordan, get along with everybody.
I just think, and I'm gonna come at you personally because you're my dog. I think that people that do not want to be leaders change the standard for leadership. Like you self-admittedly were not a rah-rah guy. So you're like, yeah, but I led in my own way. No, you just weren't a leader. Now you were maybe the most talented player I've ever played with, but you weren't a leader. And KD's incredibly talented, but he's not a leader.
That's not part of leadership?
No, getting buckets individually is not part of leadership.
What is that?
That's doing what you're paid to do.
That's leadership by example. I'm going out there getting buckets, winning games for us.
I don't think that
doing everything
leadership leadership can't be defined by a few very limited examples. And we have many more, obviously, throughout sports if we start really talking about and digging in. Guys who've been leaders through, dynasties and whatever. But I just think there were other things in place as well. It wasn't like they were the only, like KD is the only solid thing in the organization right now. What is he supposed to do? Like he's talking about the lineups. Look what's happened since he's gotten there. If you can blame KD for choosing this destination, a conversation I can have. But outside of Kevin Durant, he's the only constant in this organization. He's the only constant.
Don't mention the lineup. You have the quote here because I think it's fascinating. Joy, let me ask you about this because y'all got the quote. Let's throw it in the big board. Kevin Durant calling out his teammates. He says, look at our starting lineup. I don't know if it's called out. Royce O'Neal, Joe Harris, Claxton, and me. It's not disrespect, but what are you expecting from that group? You expect us to win because I'm out there. We've talked about Aaron Rodgers. We've chastised, condemned, scoffed at, and ridiculed Aaron Rodgers for insinuating he's talking about receivers.
Right.
Kevin Durant gave government names. Edmund Sumner, Royce O'Neal, Joe Harris, Claxton. He gave government names. Y'all called out Aaron Rodgers. Where is the energy for Kevin Durant?
It's different.
Explain why.
He's just saying, listen, with this roster, what you want me to do? That's all he's saying. Because I'm here, you want me to just win? Where Aaron was like, these guys can't play, they can't catch.
That's what he's implying.
That's what he's insinuating.
It's therefore they losing. He's just saying, listen, these are the cards I was dealt. What y'all want me to do with them? It's different. It's how you say things. Yo, hold on.
Okay. I want to hear from both of y'all.
Every interview that Aaron Rodgers had, he's hand pointing. It's this fault. It's their fault. It's their fault. It's this guy. It's that guy.
He called out government.
He's just saying, like,
he called out government.
I'm just saying, I respect that because it's like, what y'all want me to do with this team?
But
our co-star never plays. The third star we got, he don't even want to shoot. He don't even want to play. Ben Simmons, he hides out. So what do you want me to do with these other guys? That's a real question.
But you shouldn't say it out loud. Joy and then Dave take us home.
I think I could keep the same energy for KD calling out his teammates, but where I would defend KD over Aaron Rodgers is the Green Bay Packers are a respected organization with the same head coach. They are a legitimate organization. The Brooklyn Nets are like, they sell snake oil in a farmer's market. Like, you don't know when you're going to see these people again.
But what's that got to do with KD saying that? Like, I don't know if you can...
He is everything. He's everything in that organization. He's got to be the face of the organization. He's got to show up every day. He's got to perform so well that he has to overcome a roster that shouldn't be put together. He's got a new coach now. Kyrie doesn't play. James Harden left. Steve Nash wasn't qualified. Apparently that doesn't matter, but he wasn't qualified and it didn't go well. Ben Simmons doesn't play.
Ben hides out under the bleachers.
Like, Aaron Rodgers isn't dealing with that. No, I mean, he is not.
I agree with Joy just in the sense of that's a lot to overcome. But
that's only like a third. That's like a 1/15.
Can you just say the same thing without listing out the roster and being like, yeah, what do you want me to do with these guys?
The other guys are at least rookies. These guys are vets. What can I do with these guys? Jordan can't win with them dudes.
Can't you just say that? A leader wouldn't say that.
Jordan would.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.